Hey guys, I'm Alex Sutherland, and I'm back here with part 3 of my video series on game theory and poker. And today I'm excited. We're going to kind of wrap up this crash course on core game theory fundamentals so that next video we can start moving into some of the things that I call exploitative GTO, which is basically how can we leverage GTO concepts to attack our opponents. So, to wrap up this game theory intro, my goal is that if you watched my first two videos and this one, you guys will have a really solid fundamental understanding of the core elements of game theory, how to apply them to poker, how to apply them to general games. And to get from where we are now to there, we're going to have to do a little bit of GTO Broccoli. This is going to be some kind of slightly technical stuff. I'll try to keep it quick, but it's really important concepts that you guys need to understand. We're going to talk a little bit about multi-street games and sequential decision making. In games where people are making decisions sequentially, there's some really important concepts that come up. The main ones are backwards induction and subgame perfection. We're going to look at those in some non-poker example games first, then we'll apply them to poker kind of as part of our main course here. I also want to talk just a bit more about the differences between two-player zero-sum games and general games, and what properties of Nash equilibrium are really strong in various game types, how we can use some of these ideas like subgame perfection to plug the holes that can come up in basic GTO strategies in certain game types. So for those of you who like, pure theory stuff, the GTO Broccoli is going to be really exciting. For those of you who are more in this for pure practical knowledge, bear with me because our GTO main course here is going to be stake. It's going to be a two-street barreling game that I think everyone will get a lot out of. This is a game that's in the mathematics of poker. We're going to solve it using the techniques discussed above, backwards induction, subgame perfection ideas, but they solve it a way that I think is a little less intuitive and generally applicable. But the key thing about this game is it has some really good practical applications around how do you barrel when you kind of have a polarized range, what should your value betting to bluffing frequency look like as you move towards the later streets? What's the optimal bet sizing as you move towards later streets? Should you be betting more on the turn, less on the river, more on the river, less on the turn, jamming the turn, maybe that kind of stuff. And we'll get into that, give some really concrete, practical answers to those things. Then for dessert here, I've got some good stuff for you guys. We're going to do some computational stuff to measure the value of position and understand which hand ranges really benefit from being in position, which hand ranges it doesn't really matter when you're in position. And hopefully that'll be something kind of practical you guys can apply to your games, start thinking a little bit more about, how do I build strong out of position hand ranges that don't, suffer from me not having the ability to kind of close the action. Then finally, I've got another GTO quiz for you guys. I know a lot of you guys really enjoyed the first true or false quiz. Obviously, if you didn't enjoy it, just skip this one. But for those of you guys who are into that kind of stuff, this one's bigger, it's better, it's got some true or false, it's got some numerical answers. So I think a lot of people will have a lot of fun with that. So that's what we got on the menu for tonight. Let's get into it. Multi-street games. Poker is obviously a multi-street game. We've got multiple rounds of betting. And even a single street of poker actually has multiple rounds of sequential decision making, and that's opposed to simultaneous decision making. So what does that mean? Let's think about a simple game like rock, paper, scissors. If we go 1, 2, 3, shoot, we both reveal our chosen, rock, paper, scissors. We had to decide whether to play rock, paper, scissors at the same time. We didn't observe our opponent's action and then, based on that action, respond in some way. Poker's a little different. You bet and then I decide whether to call or not. I get to observe that you chose to bet as opposed to check before I had to make any decision on my own. And it turns out that GTO strategies can have some strange properties in sequential games. And the best way to see that is just through a simple example. We're going to look at a game called the Ultimatum game. This is a famous game, been studied a lot, experimentally, theoretically, all sorts of stuff. The basic idea is very simple. Two people are going to split $100,000, and player 1 gets to make a generous, fair, or unfair offer. So he can either offer his opponent $80K, and he'll keep $20K for himself. I always wrote the player 1's payoff on the left here. He can offer a fair offer where they both get $50K, or he can offer an unfair offer where he keeps $80K for himself and gives $20K to his opponent. And after observing any of those offers, Player 2 can accept or reject. So that's all these no's down here. And rejecting gives both players 0. So, a path through this tree is player 1 offers a fair offer. Player 2 accepts it. They both get 50K. That's an outcome.